I'm gonna ask you if you've ever heard of a term. If you've gone on the internet before and you've listened to music on the internet and you like to listen to music that's a little bit more on the heavy side every now and then, there's one word I guarantee you that you have heard, and you might not know exactly what it is, and you might know exactly what it is at that. The word is metalcore. You probably heard this word. You probably are familiar with the term, maybe even familiar with a couple bands here and there, the sound, whatever. Here's the thing. I want you to throw that out the window. And the reason is because I think a lot of people suffer from modern metalcore effect, where anything with a slight chug just becomes metalcore. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, per se. Not a bad thing. Uh, but it kind of is, because I think it's important to recognize all the different ways that a genre can be incorporated into things. I mean, think about it. Mastodon has a couple of metalcore-esque albums. Um, Meshuggah has a couple metalcore songs. I mean, Corridor of Chameleons is absolutely a metalcore song. Maybe even New Millennium Cyanide Christ could count as metalcore. Um, they are foremost gent songs, but you get the point. I mean, let me think of some other groups. Killswitch Engage has a couple pure metalcore songs too. Um, Earth Crisis, metalcore. Boy Sets Fire has a couple metalcore songs. Uh, and you could even take it even further. I mean, Orchid has a couple songs that have metalcore-esque characteristics, like um, Lights Out. I feel like Lights Out has a pretty solid metalcore sounding sound. But here's the thing. When you listen to a metalcore album, here's the problem. A lot of metalcore that I end up finding suffers from the same effect that all the other metalcore albums that I keep stumbling upon suffer from. And that's where basically all the songs kind of sound the same, because they're really just metalcore songs. Phrygian Mode, Chug Chug, uh, Yelling, call it a day. But I will say, metalcore sounds cool. Uh, but I would love to talk about the effects of modern metalcore and how that's changed the landscape of metal music and even rock music in general in this time period. But today I would just like to say that the album of today is Sleep in Your Own Grave by Mantis. And this is why I'm bringing up the metalcore thing, because this is a metalcore album. When I first got it, I thought it'd be Melodeath, because look at the album cover. Looks like melodic death metal to me. When I was listening to it, I was pleasantly surprised. Hold on, I'm gonna put another one of my CDs away while I talk. I was pleasantly surprised by the metalcore parts, and then I realized that it's a metalcore album. And that's when song after song after song really do just end up kind of blending together. And I liked the album. It was a good album. I just feel like a lot of the songs really just felt like the same thing. And I don't think a lot of people really know what metalcore really sounds like at like a baseline level. Like take aside the popular bands and the influential bands, the different waves. I think this is like the kind of sound that I think of when I think of metalcore. Like, it's got the chuggy breakdowns, the occasional melodic section-ish, slightly melodic riff. They got the chugs, and they got like the halftime breakdown, everything. The vocal techniques and all that. What I liked about this album is the production, for sure. It really did feel like I was listening to a metalcore album that is not overly produced, that is not meant to just blast in your car so you can hear the bass in it. It really did feel like there was heart and soul put into this album. I just think that the problem with metalcore as a genre is it is so easy to saturate. It is so easy. Y'all can hate on deathcore, but I will say metalcore is so easy to saturate. Once you saturate it, you know it is. And what I mean by that is like there's only so much you can do with chug, yell, uh, yeah, there's only so much you can do with that, like on its own. That's why there's so many different kinds. There's melodic metalcore, there's emotional metalcore, there's deathcore, um, mathcore, what else? Um, Suddenly I can't think of the other metalcore subgenres, but there's plenty of them, you know? And that's the thing. Sometimes I consider it similar to gent, where it's kind of just like a technique that is really its own distinct style at the same time. Think about like a gent riff. It's basically like a metalcore riff, but very cyclingly angular. Like it go feels like it goes out of time but goes back into time. But my problem with a lot of metalcore albums is that it really does feel like a lot of these chug breakdown songs, like chugcore almost, lose that feel. This has just enough of the metalcore part, and I love that every song isn't just you wait for the breakdown. I was excited for each riff. Like the riffs were interesting. Like they weren't horribly original, but they were really interesting. And I really enjoyed listening to the riffs, and then the breakdown sections come in and I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I heard a lot of melodic death metal in this too, which is a nice surprise as well. I would recommend this album to anyone that likes melodic death metal or melodic metalcore or a metalcore in general. For some reason, metalcore is that one genre that I can literally never think of any names. So if I think of any, and if I wake up out of my sleep before I go to work tomorrow, like, ooh, this band, I'll probably comment them. But yeah, I actually really like this. I feel like this is kind of like run-of-the-mill metalcore almost. But yeah,